The scent of pine and cinnamon wrapped around me as I stepped into the living room. But the real warmth wasn't from the crackling fire, it was from the fact that, after 3 years, I was finally home for Christmas. Maybe it was time to face them again. Time to stop running from the rift that opened the day I left my safe corporate job to play around with cameras, as my family liked to put it. Jordan, Mom rushed forward, crushing me in one of her bear hugs. I can't believe you're here. Derek and Michelle are already here with the kids, and your father's been asking about you all day. Dad emerged from the kitchen, dish towel in hand, his expression more guarded. Well, look who finally decided to show up. How's the video thing? Before I could answer, Derek's voice carried from the living room. Oh, perfect. The family disappointment has arrived. He stood in the doorway, flashing the kind of smile that belonged on a billboard, 32. Polished. Everything my parents defined as success, corner office, perfect family, suburban house. Nice to see you too, Derek, I said evenly, hanging my coat. Jordan, Emma, my 8-year-old niece, darted out and hugged me tight. Did you bring your cameras? Can you film my dance? Derek quickly pulled her back. Emma, Uncle Jordan doesn't have time for that. He's busy with his hobby. That word, hobby, hit harder than it should have. Midnight Productions wasn't a hobby. I'd spent 3 years building it. 18-hour days. No safety nets. But to them, if it wasn't corporate, it wasn't real. Michelle swept in with a tray of appetizers, her smile polished to perfection. So nice of you to step away from your little YouTube channel, Jordan. Actually, I said, taking the glass of wine Mom handed me, I run a full production company now. Derek barked out a laugh. Production company? You shoot weddings and birthday parties. That's not a company, it's a side hustle. The familiar knot tightened in my stomach. Same script, different year. Derek, be nice, Mom said, though her tone was softer than her words. I am being nice, Derek insisted. You're almost 30. Most people your age are buying homes and building families. What do you have to show for it? Dad's voice landed like a stone. Your brother has a point. It's hard watching you struggle. I'm not struggling, I said quietly. But Derek smirked. Really? Still living above that coffee shop? Still driving a car older than Emma? Face it, your dream isn't working. Michelle chimed in smoothly. Derek could get you an interview at his firm. They're hiring in marketing. Still making those silly videos? Derek chuckled. Time to get a real job. Like me. The room went still, except for Emma humming to herself in the corner. I stared at my glass, letting the silence stretch. 3 years ago, this would have crushed me. Tonight, it didn't. You know what's funny? I finally said, lifting my gaze. You talk about real jobs, but you don't have a clue what I actually do. Derek rolled his eyes. Go on, enlighten us. Tell us about your groundbreaking business, weddings, Instagram posts, maybe a motivational slideshow? Enough, Dad cut in, grabbing the remote. It's Christmas Eve. Let's just watch something. Good idea, Mom agreed quickly. Find us a holiday movie. Dad clicked through channels and opened Netflix. A banner flashed across the screen. Oh, look, Mom said. They're announcing their biggest new series, Shadows of Tomorrow. Derek leaned forward despite himself. $200 million budget. Damn. The trailer rolled, sweeping dystopian skylines, heart-pounding action, flawless production. This looks incredible, Michelle breathed. The creator must be over the moon. Dad adjusted his glasses. Says here it's created by Jordan Phillips. The name hung in the air. Derek blinked. Wait, Jordan Phillips, that's not. And then, there I was. My face filled the screen in a Netflix interview, seated beneath a giant Shadows of Tomorrow banner. In this series, my voice echoed through the living room speakers. We wanted to explore what happens when society's most vulnerable rise to power. The room froze. It's a story about transformation, I said on screen, my recorded voice calm and steady, about finding strength where no one thinks to look. The remote slipped from Dad's hand, hitting the coffee table with a sharp crack. No one moved to pick it up. Jordan Phillips, the host continued, creator and executive producer of Shadows of Tomorrow, Netflix's most ambitious series to date. developed over 3 years with a $200 million budget. It premieres this Valentine's Day and is already being called a game-changer for the platform. Derek's jaw went slack. Michelle's perfect smile had vanished. Mom stared at the TV as if it had started broadcasting an alien invasion. And that's not all, the host added. Netflix has announced this is just the first of 5 series Phillips will produce exclusively under his company, Midnight Productions, in a deal reportedly worth over $800 million. I sipped my wine slowly, savoring the silence as their world tilted. The segment played more footage, sweeping shots from the series, interviews, behind-the-scenes clips, all the silly little videos Derek mocked moments ago, now revealed as Netflix's flagship. Phillips began Midnight Productions 3 years ago in a one-bedroom apartment, the host narrated. Now, with multiple seasons already greenlit and international recognition, he's being hailed as one of the top creators to watch. When the promo ended, the Netflix homepage reappeared. No one reached for the remote. The room was so quiet the ticking of the grandfather clock sounded deafening. "Uncle Jordan," Emma said innocently, looking up from her toys. "Is that you on TV?" "Yes, sweetheart," I smiled. "That's me." 800 million. Derek finally breathed, his voice hollow. "That's just the Netflix contract," I said evenly. Midnight Productions has deals with 3 other streamers and 2 major studios. Dad blinked hard. But you live above a coffee shop." "I own the coffee shop," I corrected gently, "and the building, and 12 other properties downtown. I kept the apartment because it's quiet, good for writing." Mom's voice was fragile. "You never told us. You never asked," I replied, not unkindly. Every time I tried, someone cut me off to remind me I didn't have a real job. Michelle's face had gone pale. Derek's grip on his wine glass was so tight his knuckles blanched. "We thought you were barely surviving," Derek whispered. "You assumed," I said, "and you never questioned those assumptions." His voice cracked. "If you were this successful, why hide it? Why let us think?" "Because success isn't about proving people wrong." I stood, refilling my glass with unhurried calm. "It's about building something real. And I was too busy building to waste energy convincing people who'd already decided I was a failure." Dad scrolled frantically through his phone, each article making his face pale further. "Forbes named you one of the top entertainment entrepreneurs under 30, he read aloud. 3 international awards, full-page feature in Variety. "Jordan, you're everywhere." "The apartment," Mom whispered, connecting dots. "When you said you were working on something big." "I was writing the series Bible," I said simply. "Took 18 months. I tested scenes with local actors in the coffee shop after hours." Derek let out a broken laugh, rubbing his temples. 3 years I've been calling you irresponsible. Jesus, Jordan, I bet Dad $50 you'd come crawling back inside a year." "I remember," I said quietly. "I also remember Michelle calling my dream cute." Michelle flinched. "I didn't." "You did," I said, not bitter, not angry, just the truth. Dad's voice cut in again, shaky now. "Variety says Shadows of Tomorrow is tracking to be Netflix's biggest original ever." I shrugged. "We'll see. The numbers look good." Emma tugged at my sleeve. "Uncle Jordan, are you famous now?" "Some people know my name," I said with a smile. "Will you still film my dances?" "Always. That's the fun stuff." Derek buried his face in his hands. 3 years. 3 years thinking you were wasting your life." "And all that time," I said, sitting back down, "I was doing exactly what I set out to do." Mom's eyes shimmered with tears. "We made you feel unwelcome in your own family." "You made me feel like my dreams were worthless," I corrected softly. "There's a difference." The silence that followed was heavier than anything I'd ever felt in that house. "It says here, you've already started production on your 2nd series, Dad read quietly from his phone. "And you're developing a feature film." 3, actually. The first one premieres at Sundance next month. Derek's head snapped up like he'd been hit. "Sundance? As in the Sundance Film Festival?" "That's the one." His voice cracked. But how? How do you go from making wedding videos to Netflix and Sundance?" I couldn't help smiling. "I never made wedding videos, Derek." From day one, I was building original content. That first year, I worked for free, writing scripts, building a team, creating proof-of-concept reels. By the second year, investors were circling. By the third, studios were fighting over us. Michelle was furiously scrolling through her phone now. There's an Entertainment Weekly interview here. You talk about your creative process and your family. My stomach tightened. What did I say? She read aloud, my family taught me perseverance. When people believe in you, it's easy to keep going. When they don't, you learn to believe in yourself. Both lessons are valuable. Dad looked up. His voice was softer than I'd heard in years. That's very diplomatic. I meant it, I said. Derek's criticism pushed me harder. Every time someone said I was wasting my time, I doubled down. So in a way, I should thank you. Derek went pale. He sank into a chair, his voice low. God, Jordan. I've been such an ass. You've been protective of your younger brother, I said gently. A little misguided, maybe, but it came from a good place. No, Derek said, shaking his head. It didn't. It came from jealousy. I envied that you had the guts to chase your dream while I played it safe. And instead of admitting that, I mocked you for it. For once, he wasn't hiding behind his polished smile. The raw honesty in his voice stunned me. Mom dabbed her eyes with a tissue. We owe you an apology, Jordan. All of us. You don't owe me anything, I said. But maybe, from here on, we could try to see each other more clearly. Dad finally set his phone down and looked straight at me. I read about your series. The article said it's about people who are underestimated finding their power. That's part of it. Was that about us? His voice cracked. About how we treated you? I thought carefully. It's about anyone who's ever been told they're not enough. Which, honestly, is most of us at some point. Emma, who'd been listening wide-eyed the whole time, piped up suddenly. Uncle Jordan, can I be in one of your movies? The tension shattered, and laughter rippled through the room. If you convince your parents to sign you up for acting lessons, maybe we can work something out, I told her. Derek was still staring at me, but the look in his eyes had changed. Awe. Regret. Maybe even pride. I can't wrap my head around this. You're actually successful. Not pretend successful. Really successful. I tilted my head. Define successful. You're premiering the biggest Netflix series in history. You're worth, God, I don't even want to guess. Money isn't my measure of success. Then what is? I nodded toward the television, still glowing with Netflix's homepage. Tomorrow, millions of people will watch something I created. They'll feel something, think something, maybe even see the world differently. That's success. Mom was staring at me like she was seeing me for the first time. When did you become so wise? Probably around the time I realized other people's opinions of my life are none of my business, I said, smiling. And click the like and subscribe for more videos.